Mojito's is a Cuban restaurant located in Brooklyn, New York, and the focus of Season 3, Episode 4 of Kitchen Nightmares, a reality show where celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay tries to save failing restaurants. The owners are Catalina and Marcelo, and they're also married, or at least they were when they opened the place. Catalina runs the front of the house, and Marcelo is the head chef. Or one of them does all the work and the other one does nothing, depending on who you listen to. Right off the bat, it's made very clear that Catalina and Marcelo's relationship is in tatters. It's on the rocks. Actually, it crashed into the rocks long ago, and now it's just a rotting corpse of a ship getting covered in barnacles and algae. And the biggest contributing factor in their failed relationship seems to be the restaurant. Catalina explains that they already invested everything they had into it, which was about $300,000. That puts them in a really bad spot because now you have two owners that hate each other trying to run a failing business together. Not exactly a recipe for success. And based on what we see in the intro, they are constantly fighting. In a cutaway, Marcelo says, "She has the book, How to Drive Marcelo Crazy." And he later says, "Okay, she's a bitch." Catalina says in a cutaway, "I don't respect Marcelo because he doesn't know how to handle pressure." And we later see a clip of Catalina chastising Marcelo for various things and Marcelo losing his temper and yelling. Let's hope Gordon received his amateur marriage counselor license. He shows up to the restaurant and is greeted by Catalina, who seats him at a table. She explains that she and Marcelo used to be married, and Gordon just says, "Oh Jesus." The whole time they're talking, Marcelo is just lurking from the kitchen. Gordon then tries several dishes and none of them get any compliments. His soup is cold, his beans are too salty, and his fish is undercooked. Just before the food starts going out, Marcelo says that he thinks Gordon will love it, and when Gordon is trying the fish, Marcelo watches from the kitchen window and says, "Delicious. Wow, he loves it." Another person that has never seen Kitchen Nightmares before. As each complaint comes back to the kitchen, Catalina goes back and scolds Marcelo for messing up, which results in loud arguments that can be heard from the dining room. After the terrible dining experience, Gordon goes back into the kitchen to talk with Catalina, Marcelo, and the sous chef. But after talking with them briefly, it seems pretty clear that the two owners hate each other, and that dysfunctionality is destroying any chance of success the restaurant might have. Next, Gordon decides to watch a typical dinner service. As the service starts, Marcelo is supposed to be expediting, but instead he's just kind of standing there looking very sad. Then when he does start trying to get involved, he doesn't seem to know what's going on, and the other staff says that he just gets in the way. This prompts Catalina to start yelling at him, which doesn't improve the situation at all. The whole time Gordon is just standing there looking like this. He looks like when you were a kid and visited your friend's house and their parents started arguing in front of you. But worst of all, the customers seem to be hating the food. He also goes into their fridge, and what he finds is massive amounts of food, way more than what they need to run the restaurant. Next, Gordon decides to sit down with Catalina and Marcelo separately and try to find out where all the animosity is coming from. And based off of what both of them say, it looks like all the friction started back when they were still married. The two of them decided that they wanted children, and Catalina started undergoing IVF treatment. Catalina claims that while she was putting in all the effort to go through the treatment, Marcelo gave her no support and was out partying with friends. Catalina then took a trip to Miami, and while there she met someone else. She claims that she decided to leave him because both of them weren't happy. Gordon then asks both of them the obvious question, do you think things might run better if one of you was no longer involved with the business? And they both say yes. But the problem is that neither one of them wants to be the one to leave. So in order to try and get them to work together and rebuild their relationship, Gordon asks Catalina and Marcelo to work together to cook a Cuban dish. But it looks like they missed the point of the assignment because they both start making separate dishes, which really annoys Gordon. He tries both dishes and says that Catalina's dish is nice and Marcelo's is mediocre. And he decides to serve Catalina's dish as a special for dinner. Catalina also suggests to Marcelo that she should be in the kitchen for the next service and he should be in the dining room, probably encouraged by the fact that Gordon said that her dish was better. Marcelo kind of tacitly agrees to it. As the service starts, Catalina seems to be doing really well in the kitchen. She's getting orders out quickly and controlling everything. At one point things did get a little bit out of control and everybody was confused, but she managed to pull it back together, and overall it seems like the service and the specials were a success. After the service, Gordon gets Catalina and Marcelo together and tells them that in order to succeed, they're going to have to put aside their problems and focus completely on the restaurant. And next is the restaurant redesign part of the episode. The new restaurant and the new menu are revealed, and everyone seems to really love everything. For some reason, Catalina and Marcelo have also decided to both work the front of the house and let the sous chef handle the kitchen by himself, which was probably a mistake. As the service starts, the sous chef isn't calling any orders or saying anything. Gordon asks him if he's not going to call anything out, and he just looks at him and doesn't say anything. Before long, the kitchen is a complete mess. Orders are going out wrong, and no one seems to know what's going on. Finally, Marcelo jumps back into the kitchen and starts expediting, and then everything seems to go much better. Catalina even gives Marcelo some rare praise in a cutaway and says that she gained more respect for him. Overall, the service seems to have gone pretty well. Catalina and Marcelo are able to work together without killing each other, and they have a new revamped menu. In the end of episode recap, the narrator says that the two of them are no longer wasting money on excess product, they're fighting less, and they are going out and promoting the business to try and drum up sales. But did the restaurant actually survive after going on the show? To answer that, we can first look at the revisited episode the Kitchen Nightmares did on them. Gordon returns to the restaurant and is greeted by Catalina, who tells him that business is up 30% and that she and Marcelo are now able to work together as partners. She also says that they should be out of debt in 6 months. He then tries the food and says that it's good. Catalina and Marcelo also revealed that they tried getting back together romantically after Gordon's visit, but it just didn't work out. So, are they still open today? After doing all the research, I found out that Mojito's closed on or around March 2nd in 2016. Here you can see a Facebook post announcing the closure on that day. But the episode aired in February of 2010, so they did manage to stay open for 6 years or so after going on the show, which isn't nothing. If their estimate of being out of debt in 6 months was accurate, then they should have been debt-free and making profit long before the restaurant closed. But what about Catalina and Marcelo? What have they been up to? While doing research, I found several of Catalina's social media accounts, and after scrolling back through them as far as they go, while many of her posts do involve the restaurant, I didn't see hide nor tail of Marcelo. That gives me the impression that he may have left the business long before they closed. Either that or she intentionally never took his picture. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find any updates on Marcelo, so we don't really know what he's been up to since the restaurant closed. But I did find out a few things about Catalina. She has several pictures of herself together with this man, and I'm almost positive that this is either her boyfriend or her husband. Catalina also went on several other TV shows, including Chopped in 2012 and Cutthroat Kitchen in 2013, according to her IMDb. And it looks like she also appeared on Telemundo at some point, probably to try and promote the restaurant based on the fact that she's wearing a shirt with a Mojito's logo on it. So it looks like she found somebody else, and she's continued to practice cooking. She also has a YouTube channel, and on it she's posted a bunch of clips of her appearing on various Spanish TV shows. And bizarrely, she also has the entire Kitchen Nightmares episode that she was in posted on her channel, but it's like a bootlegged version and it's been dubbed over in Russian. Maybe she did that to avoid the copyright or something. But what I'm curious about is, what did the average person think of the restaurant before they closed? Did Mojito's close because the owners just wanted to do something different, or were they not making enough money? Let's take a look at their Yelp page to see what the average person thought about their food. We can see that they have 2.7 out of 5 stars with 191 reviews, which is pretty not great. That's barely above 50%. And if we look at the spread of reviews, then it looks even worse. But some percentage of those reviews are going to be from before they went on Kitchen Nightmares, so maybe they turned it around and the reviews from after that are all awesome. Let's take a look at their average review score for each year and see if there's any kind of upward trend. Here is a graph of that, and we can see that the first year that they had any reviews was actually their highest average at 4 stars. 2010, which I marked with a red line, is the year that the episode aired on TV. We can see that they were on a downward trend until 2010, and after that they kind of improved until 2013, where they managed to cross the 3-star line, but then they went way down the next year. Just based off of this, it doesn't seem like they made a massive improvement after going on the show. But obviously these are just random people's reviews and not really a truly objective measurement of anything. But I think it does give us at least an idea of how the restaurant was doing, and based on this, it doesn't look like it was doing massively well. There are definitely good reviews, but it seems like for every good review, there's a bad review. There was one thing that I noticed, and that was that it seems like a lot of the bad reviews complained about rude staff and or the way they were charged, like being overcharged or having excessive gratuities put on the bill without telling anybody. There was even one review where a person claimed that a roach crawled out of their salad. Good God. So either most of the people that liked the food didn't leave reviews, or their service and or food was very hit or miss. But that is the story of Mojitos. They stayed open for around 6 years after going on the show and closed in 2016 with pretty mediocre reviews. Catalina and Marcelo went their separate ways despite trying to rekindle their relationship once, and Catalina eventually ended up in a relationship with somebody else. She also went on a couple of cooking-based reality TV shows and has done some other cooking demos on social media. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.